Appreciate everybody coming out today. Obviously, this is a really exciting day. Obviously, getting a chance to spend time with you guys last week was really special on day one, but then we get to go to work. We get to start putting together our coaching staff, bringing in a lot of really, really good people, folks that share a lot of the same beliefs that have meant a lot to me throughout not only the process of leading up to becoming the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, but now knowing what it's going to look like to implement this plan and this vision and connect with our players. The three guys I'm going to introduce to you guys today, they share all those characteristics that I hope to have for our players myself. Starting out with Ed Donatel, this will be his 32nd NFL season. When you're an offensive head coach and you've coached in this league long enough, when you get an opportunity like this to put together a coaching staff, you guys heard me talk about it last week, but you really start thinking about it from the standpoint of what do you not like to play against? What's the hardest defensive scheme to play against? You know, what keeps you up at night as you game plan as an offense? Guys like Ed Donatel, and he's been doing it for a long time in this league, one of the best secondary coaches that we have in our league. I think he's been in a role for a few years now, in a leadership role that shows me he's primed to take over our vision of how we want to play defense here at the Vikings. It was a no-brainer to me to reach out to Ed at the beginning of this process, and just throughout getting to know him and getting a feel for where he's at in his career. He's the perfect guy for me because he shares the mantra of wanting to lead, teach, and motivate. That's who he is. He's an ultimate positive guy that knows how he wants to play defense. He knows how to incorporate the coaching staff he's going to have working with him, and could not be more excited to add a guy who's coached Hall of Famers, been to the playoffs a ton of times, won Super Bowls. He knows what it's like to play really good defense, but he knows what it's like to have success in this league. It's a huge part of why he's here. Offensive coordinator Wes Phillips, obviously just coming off of winning a Super Bowl right alongside me and the rest of our staff in Los Angeles. Wes has coached 16 years in this league, a wide range of offensive positions from tight ends to assisting in the O-line. A really, really good mind from a standpoint of how you want to throw the football and marry it with the run game that you want to do on early downs, but more importantly, how to go score. He's been a huge part of building every offensive red zone plan I've had working alongside him over the past few years, both in Los Angeles and in Washington. I've seen him develop and take good players and make them great. I've seen him take young players and turn them into really high-quality starting caliber players when not a lot of people in the building may have thought it was possible. So what does that tell me? He can develop, he can teach, he can lead, he can obviously motivate. A very common theme going across the board for us. From a scheme standpoint, there's nobody else I could have brought with me that would be more aligned with how I see the game, can be an extension of me up in front of the offensive unit. And a guy that I trust to not only lead our group, but help me lead on the offensive side with the rest of our coaches. And then obviously Matt Daniels, a guy that we're going to bring in to be our special teams coordinator. Could not be more excited about him. When I close my eyes and I think about special teams, I think about a group with energy, enthusiasm, detail, guys that can follow the lead of our coordinator to go out and execute plans each and every week. It's a huge phase to help us go win football games. And over the last 5 years, Matt's obviously been the assistant in two spots for John Fossil, who's a guy who I have so much respect for, an incredible special teams coordinator for a long time in this league. And in addition to Bones, we call him John Fossil, a lot of other players, former coaches that Matt coached with in LA, countless people standing up on the table saying, this is your guy. All you got to do is spend a little bit of time talking with him and you'll know. And I really knew very quickly that Matt Daniels was the guy that I wanted to hire as our special teams coordinator. Dallas, the unit he was just coaching this past year, one of the top units in the NFL, led the NFL in touchdowns with 3. I think they blocked a couple kicks, 1 kick return. Punter going to the Pro Bowl for the first time. So you just look at it from a standpoint of these 3 guys, production, coming from places that they've been at and doing things at a high level in a lot of different ways with a lot of different types of players. But the one thing that kept resonating with me was a connection to those players and those guys playing really, really hard for them, playing with great detail, technique, fundamentals, looking like a well-coached outfit in each of the three places that these guys came from. So it was really important for me to get these guys in the leadership role that we have them in here, and I think our players will feel it from day one. Really, really excited to introduce these guys to you. And with that, I'll bring up our defensive coordinator, Ed Donatel.